Hello and welcome to InfoSec Insights. In the last video, we started Domain 1 with some fundamental security concepts. In today's video, we will continue this topic and cover some more security concepts which are rudimentary to understand. So let's begin. The first concept that we are going to discuss today is vulnerability. A vulnerability is a weakness in a system that allows a threat source to compromise its security. A vulnerability in the context of computer security and software refers to a weakness or a flaw in the system, application, or a network that can be exploited by the attackers in order to compromise the security of the system. They can use this to gain unauthorized access, or they can cause other undesirable outcomes. Vulnerabilities can exist in various components of a system, including software code, hardware configurations, or even in human behavior. Some key points that need to be understood related to the vulnerabilities are types of vulnerabilities. Now, vulnerabilities can take many forms, such as software bugs, coding errors, misconfigurations, design flaws, or even social engineering tactics to manipulate human behavior. Common types of vulnerabilities include buffer overflow, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and many more. Exploitation. Once a vulnerability is identified, attackers can exploit them by using specific techniques or tools to take advantage of the weakness. This could lead to unauthorized access, data theft, system crashes, and other malicious activities. Disclosures. Vulnerabilities are generally discovered by security researchers and ethical hackers, but they can also be discovered by the malicious actors. It's extremely important to report about these vulnerabilities. So, a responsible disclosure is a process where those who find these vulnerabilities report them to the organizations who are responsible for the effective systems. This can help them to release the patches which can mitigate the vulnerabilities before the issue is publicly disclosed. Patching and remediation. In order to remediate the vulnerabilities, software vendors or system administrators release patches or updates that can fix the issues. It's essential for organizations and individuals to keep their systems and software up to date in order to protect them against the known vulnerabilities. Zero-day vulnerabilities. These are the vulnerabilities that are exploited by the attackers before the software vendor is aware of them, or they had a chance to release the patch. They are called zero-day because there are 0 days of protection available before the exploit is known. Common Vulnerability Scoring System, or CVSS. A CVSS is a standardized system for assessing and rating the severity of the vulnerabilities. It considers factors such as exploitability, impact, and how the vulnerabilities are used or can be used in the attacks. Threat. What is a threat? A threat is a statement, action, or condition that has the potential to cause harm, danger, damage, loss, or any other negative consequence to individuals, organizations, assets, or systems. Threats can come in various forms, which includes physical threats, cybersecurity threats, economic threats, environmental threats, and many more. They are a critical consideration in risk assessment and management, as identifying and mitigating threats are extremely essential for ensuring safety and security in various contexts, such as personal safety, national security, business operations, and information technology. In the context of information security, a threat refers to any circumstance or event that has the potential to harm or compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of information or information systems. Threats can be intentional, which means they can be malicious, or unintentional means accidental, and they are fundamental concerns in maintaining the security of data and information systems. Some common type of threats are malware, malicious softwares such as viruses, worms, trojans, ransomwares, and spywares can infect computers and networks, which can lead them to data breaches, data losses, or unauthorized access. Phishing. Phishing attacks involve tricking individuals into revealing sensitive information, such as usernames, passwords, or credit card details, by posing as a trustworthy entity. This can occur through deceptive emails, websites, or messages. Social engineering. Social engineering attacks manipulate people into divulging confidential information or performing actions that can compromise the security. Examples include pretexting, which is creating a false scenario to obtain information, baiting, which is enticing the victims to click on malicious links, and tailgating, which is physically following someone into a secured area. Insider threats. Employees or individuals with insider knowledge and access to systems, they can also pose a threat. This may include deliberate data theft, unauthorized access, or accidentally mishandling of sensitive information. Physical theft or damage. Physical theft or damage to hardware, such as servers or laptops, can lead to data loss or unauthorized access to sensitive information. Software vulnerabilities. These are the weaknesses or security flaws in application softwares or operating systems which can be exploited by attackers to gain unauthorized access or compromise data. Natural disasters. Events like earthquakes, floods, fires, or power outages, they can also disrupt information systems and can cause data loss or downtime if adequate disaster recovery plans are not in place. For an effective information security measures, it aims to identify, assess, and mitigate these threats in order to protect data information systems from harm, ensuring the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of critical information. The next concept that we are going to discuss is threat agent. A threat agent is an individual, group, organization, or entity that has the capability and intent to carry out activities or actions that can pose harm, damage, or a potential threat to individual asset systems or organizations. Now, in the context of information security, a threat agent refers to a force that can carry out or poses a threats to an information system, organizations, or individuals. They have the intent and the capabilities to exploit the vulnerabilities and compromise the security of information assets. Some common example of threat agents in terms of information security are hackers. These are the individuals or group with highly technical expertise who attempt to gain unauthorized access to computer systems, networks, or data for various purposes, including data theft, disruption, or vandalism. Malware authors, these are the individuals or organizations that create and distribute malicious softwares, such as viruses, trojans, and ransomware to compromise or exploit vulnerable systems. Keep in mind that malware authors, they are the one who create the malwares, and then another group or individuals, which is known as hackers, they can use these malicious softwares to create the disruption. Insiders, employees, contractors, or individuals with legitimate access to an organization's systems and data who may misuse their privilege intentionally or unintentionally. Insider threats can involve in data theft, espionage, or sabotage. Cybercriminals. These are the organized criminal groups or individuals who engage in cybercrimes such as identity theft, credit card fraud, and online scams to gain financial benefits. State sponsored actors. Government agencies or organizations with the backing of nation state. They are mostly engaged in cyber espionage, cyber warfare, or cyber attacks for political, military, or for economic purposes. Script kiddies. They are less skilled individuals who use pre-written scripts or tools in order to launch the attacks without a deep understanding of the technical details. They may engage in hacking just for fun. Hacktivists. These are individuals or groups with political, social, or ideological motivations who carry out cyber attacks in order to promote their cause, raise awareness. Risk. A risk is the likelihood that a threat actor exploiting a vulnerability that can have a negative impact on business. Example of risks are, let's say if a firewall has several ports open, then there is a higher likelihood that an intruder will use one of them to access the network in an unauthorized method. Another example is if the users are not educated on processes and procedures, there is a higher likelihood that an employee will make a mistake that may destroy the data. Likewise, if an intrusion detection system is not implemented on a network, there is a higher likelihood that an attack will go unnoticed until it is too late. Risk is highly connected with vulnerability, threat, and likelihood of exploitation, which can result to have a negative impact on the business. Exposure. An exposure is an occurrence of being open to losses. A vulnerability can expose an organization to potential damages. For example, if a password management is lax and password rules are not enforced, then an organization has exposed itself to the possibility of having users' password compromised, which can then be used in an unauthorized manner. Likewise, if an organization does not have its wiring inspected and does not put protective fire prevention steps into place, it exposes itself to potentially devastating fires. Damages then can be quantitative or qualitative, which includes financial, brand reputation as well. Control or countermeasure is to put in place to mitigate or reduce the potential risk. A control may be a software configuration, it can be a hardware device, or it can be even a procedure that mitigates a vulnerability or reduces the likelihood of a threat agent to exploit the vulnerabilities. Examples of strong countermeasures are password management, firewalls, proper firewall configuration, security guard for physical security, access control mechanism, encryption, security awareness training, and so on. Here is the relationship or overview of the relationship of how all of these security concepts are connected with each other. Let's consider an example. If an organization has an anti-malware software but does not keep the signatures up to date, then this is a vulnerability. The organization is vulnerable to more recent malware attacks, let's say zero-day attacks. Now, the threat is that a threat agent can insert a malware in the environment and can disrupt the productivity. The risk in this case is the likelihood of a threat agent using malware in the environment and the resulting potential damage. If this happens, then a vulnerability has been successfully exploited and the organization is exposed to loss. The countermeasure in this situation is to update the signatures and install the anti-malware softwares on all the computers. So in this video, we discussed the topics such as vulnerability, threat agent, risk exposures, and controls. We also discussed the relationship between these concepts and how they are connected with each other. So if you liked the video, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. If you have any questions or thoughts, do mention them in the comment sections. I hope this has been informative to all. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.